What is it that's not exactly ice cream, but it's not exactly a milkshake?
Find out next on Junk Feud.
Oh, yeah! Welcome to Junk Feud, the podcast about junk food, where we rate and review mystery treats to determine which one will be the undisputed champion of snacks. I'm your host, Mike. Alongside me, as always, Alyssa.
Dad.
Liz.
So, how do flat earthers travel?
Oh, no. Getting a little controversial here. How do flat earthers travel?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, I want to say not on airplanes, because then they would be able to physically see the curvature of the earth. But no, I have no idea.
On a plane.
On a plane. Oh, like a plane, like a flat two-dimensional plane. You are laughing so much that you are choking right now. Oh my goodness. Take a drink, kid.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Better than ever.
You like math jokes a lot, huh?
Oh, yeah. Wait, Dad, I have a Riz real quick.
Oh, a Riz. Excuse me. What is a Riz?
We're going to do a Riz of the week.
The Riz of the week. Oh, no.
Okay. So this week we're going to start off with two because it's the kickoff season.
Go on.
So the first one is going to be, are you Ice Spice? Because I'm feeling you.
I don't get it.
What do you rate that 1 out of 10?
Well, if there were negative numbers, maybe that. Well, I don't understand. Is that like a lyric from one of her songs? I told you, I've never heard an Ice Spice song. And also, you're not allowed to talk about her on the show until she comes on as a guest. That's the Ice Spice rule.
What do you rate that out of 10?
1.
Okay. Next one is school only talks about X and Y. Why doesn't it talk about you and I?
Oh, boy. These are terrible. Does this work? Do children think this is like...
Or like, are you a computer because you're just my type?
Oh, and you're typing on the... I mean, I guess these are like, appropriately G-rated for middle school, but still, this can't work. Does this work?
This can work. Why'd you say like that? You were like, work.
It cannot work. I don't know. Liz,
twerk, 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 twerk.
Okay, first of all, let's do the thing. This was a dad joke, a joke you tell to your dad. If you'd like to submit a dad joke for Alyssa to tell me on the show, you can send it in to us via X or Threads or now Blue Sky at JunkFeudPod or via email to junkfeudpod@gmail.com. It's another like Twitter clone. It's a not a Twitter clone, but it's a Twitter alternative, another short form social media site like X or Threads or Mastodon or something like that.
Yeah.
And apparently that was also the Riz of the week. Here we are, sticking out our gyat for the Rizzler. See, I heard a thing.
Sticking out your yacht for the Rizzler.
That's right.
You're so skibbity.
We are very, I don't know what that means actually. So we're going to have to do a,
I don't
Alyssa
really know
explains
what it
it all.
means either.
Liz, here's what I do know. Welcome back once again to the world's yeetest podcast.
Very mid, giving the ick, hitting them with the Riz each and every week.
That's right, Liz.
Yeah.
Eating season is here.
Correct, bingo.
Yeah, it's we are in the post-Halloween come down right now. It is officially eating season. Liz, you know what else it is?
What?
This is a thing that November invokes in me. It is comfy season, Alyssa.
It is comfy season.
It is comfy season. We are cozy. I switched my laundry. Alyssa, this is a thing that I've been doing since I was a child because we didn't have closets in the house that I grew up in, really. There were a few, but not in every bedroom. So we didn't have like a lot of places to store clothes. So you had your summer clothes and then you had your winter clothes. And during the seasons, you would swap them out. You would keep them in like boxes in the attic. So I still do that. And I switch my summer and winter clothes. And Liz, it is so exciting to get out the winter clothes. All the sweaters. It's sweater season. It's sweater weather, Liz. We listened to that song in the car the other day.
Love. Okay, yeah. So it's not really appropriate. So let's just not say it on the show.
What's that? Some of those other words that we just said that now I'm going to have to go back and edit out.
It's not that it's not appropriate, but it's not appropriate.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't understand Gen Z slang at all, obviously, as we've seen on this show and the back of the box segment. Alyssa explains it all. Liz, we were talking about sweater weather.
Coming down, one love, 2 miles, one love.
Liz, last year I got some big, thick, cozy socks.
Oh, yes, you did.
I did. I was doing my best Dumbledore. You know when Dumbledore looks into the mirror of Erised and Harry asks him what he sees, and he said, "I see myself holding a pair of thick woolen socks," right? Or something like that. Yeah, that was me the other day. like rooting through a big Rubbermaid container trying to find my cozy socks. Liz, you're in cozy season too. You got an electric blanket for your birthday.
A heated blanket.
Well, yeah, that's what an electric blanket
and
is.
I got these new Uggs, and they have like the fuzzies.
The Uggs with the fuzzies. Is that like apple bottom jeans and the boots with the fur?
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Uggs with the fuzzies.
Wait, ready?
Yeah,
Hold on. What are low tops called?
They're called low tops.
Like not high tops.
They're called low tops.
Low top Uggs, Uggs with the fur. Got the whole school looking at her.
Well, great.
Yeah. Oh, there's a hair in my sock. There's a snake in my boot.
Liz, we said we're in cozy season. It is cozy right now. I'm thinking of a particular food that is not really necessarily something that you would associate with cozy season.
At all,
because it's more like a cooling treat, not a warming treat like you would expect for cozy season. But Liz,
up next on Junk Feud.
Yeah, this all reminds me of this week's snack. Up next on Junk Feud, Alyssa, it's the Wendy's Frosty.
Frosty.
Hey, before we start this episode proper, we have to thank friend of the show, Owen, who suggested this topic to us like multiple times. He wants us to do the Frosty really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for sure, we're going to do it today. Liz, do you know what a Frosty is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's the Wendy's signature dessert.
Yeah, that's right. According to the copy on their website, the Wendy's signature dessert, the Frosty, is cool, creamy, and refreshing, thick enough to use a spoon, smooth enough to use a straw. Liz, it's a frozen dairy dessert.
Yeah.
That's right. It is served at a precise temperature between 19 and 21 degrees Fahrenheit, Liz. How many of these does Wendy's sell every year?
300 million.
300 million Frosties, Liz. That's a lot of Frosties.
Yeah.
But it all started with one, the first one ever, and that was a frozen dairy dessert that was the brainchild of a guy named Dave Thomas, who is from Atlantic City, New Jersey, Alyssa.
That's very close to us.
Yeah, shout out to a fellow Jersey boy, Dave Thomas. Do you know there's another Dave Thomas?
Really?
Yeah, he's a Canadian comedian. He was on SCTV. He was Doug McKenzie in Bob and Doug McKenzie. We listened to their song, the 12 Days of Christmas, that they do every Christmas season, but it's Canadian.
Oh.
You know, 2 turtlenecks and a beer in a tree, because they're Canadian, so they like Molson. You don't remember that one, do you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. There's also another Dave Thomas, which is just a guy that I know. I saw him today, actually. So shout out to all 3 Dave Thomases.
Yeah.
The one we're talking about today, the founder of Wendy's, Liz, Dave Thomas, was a Kentucky Fried Chicken manager when he was younger. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, actually worked for KFC when Colonel Sanders was still around. He decided he wanted to branch out and open his own burger place, Liz, after being a seasoned fast food restaurant manager. So he opened up a spot. Spot? Did I say spot?
Yeah, you did.
He opened up a spot on Broad Street in Columbus, Ohio, and he named his restaurant after his daughter, Melinda.
Melinda.
Yeah, but they called her Wendy. And also his granddaughter. And you can guess what her name was also.
Wendy.
That's right. One of the strategies he had when managing restaurants was to try to keep menus like super simple. And so when he opened his first Wendy's restaurant list, there were just 5 things on the menu. Do you know what they are?
Burgers, chili, fries, soft drinks, and the Frosty.
And the Frosty, that's right. It's an original 5 Wendy's item. You can still get all 5 of those original items today, Liz, including the original chocolate Frosty, which Dave Thomas himself commissioned from a guy named Fred Kappas, who was a local restaurant equipment distributor. Now, Liz, why does a local restaurant equipment distributor get credited in part with the invention of the Frosty?
I don't know. Why?
It was because Fred Kappas distributed ice cream machines, Liz.
He did?
He did, that's right. So Dave Thomas, who knew Fred Kappas and knew that he distributed ice cream machines, thought that the guy that makes the ice cream machines would probably have a pretty good milkshake recipe. And guess what?
He did.
He did, that's right. But it wasn't even his recipe. The rabbit hole goes deeper, Lisa. Do you know who it belonged to?
A guy named Herman Weissner.
Yeah, Herman Weissner made malted milkshakes at a place called Thistledown Raceway in Cleveland, a horse track, Alyssa.
Whoa.
Thistledown. We used to call you Thistle, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's right. There was a sign at this racetrack, Liz, and it said that the malted milkshakes, the malts, were made with a secret formula, but in truth, it was really no secret at all. Everybody knew that Herman just added vanilla ice cream to his chocolate shake to make it smooth and creamy and a little bit malty from that like toasted vanilla flavor. Yeah, so Dave Thomas loved it. He said the lighter chocolate flavor would help the dessert not overwhelm the flavor of his burgers. He didn't want like a really deep, dark, chocolatey flavor. He wanted something light and frosty, and that's where the name comes from. And the Frosty business, in fact, grew so fast that Fred Kappas had to invent new Frosty machines with increased capacity just to meet that demand.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he sure did. Liz, did you know that Wendy's was buying so much soft serve ice cream in Columbus, Ohio, because so many people love their Frosties, that they had to commission their own special mix of Frosty ingredients with all these stablers and emulsifiers in there?
Oh, they have this like Frosty at-home maker.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those. Why don't we have one of those?
No, they have like a Wendy's one.
A Wendy's branded Frosty maker that you can buy at home? You know, it's funny. Friend of the show, Amir, just told me not too long ago that he was going to invest in a slushy making machine for his house. I have to check with him to see how that went. So Liz, anyway, they make this special mix. It's got all these stabilizers and emulsifiers. They get it from a guy named Tom Coleman, and Tom Coleman made special ice cream mixes for Dairy Queen. So Liz, we've seen now, Dave Thomas gets credit as the inventor of the Frosty in 1969, but it had just as much to do with Dave Thomas as it did Fred Kappas and Herman Weissner, and then later Tom Coleman.
Yeah.
Liz, what else was going on in 1969?
In 1969, we went to the moon.
Yeah, holy crap, we went to the moon. That's my favorite Onion headline. Holy something or other, man walks on moon. It's so good. Apollo 11 put U.S. astronauts on the lunar surface, 1969.
Nixon became president?
And if you believe Futurama, as we've said in the past, he is still president in the year 3000.
Yeah, the Montreal Expos became Major League Baseball first non-U.S. expansion team.
Yeah, the Expos, now the Nationals in lineage.
John Lennon married Yoko Ono.
That's right, and generally speaking, everyone except John Lennon and Yoko Ono thought that was a bad idea.
The Woodstock Festival was held near White Plains.
In New York, that's right. Peace and love. Liz, 1969, the Mets won the World Series.
The Mets?
Lol Mets. And Sesame Street, Alyssa, debuted on PBS.
I love Sesame Street.
Still going strong today. Who's your favorite Sesame Street character?
Oscar the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch, really?
She's funny.
Wow, very rare.
Or Big Bird.
Big Bird, sure. The default selection, I think.
And then obviously the girl.
Obviously
I forget
the girl.
The girl,
Abby
the pink
Cadabby.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people your age probably would say Elmo.
No.
Elmo, a fan favorite for a long time. But yeah, I like an
Elmo
OG
was
selection.
so rude to Rocco.
To Rocco?
He said hi to everyone. Hi, Curly Sue. And then it was, hi, Rocco.
Who's Rocco?
Oh my gosh, Dad.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Rocco the Muppet.
No, he's not a Muppet. He's a rock.
He's a rock.
Yeah, look. He has a play date with everyone. And then Rocco, he has to say hi to.
He has to say hi to an actual physical rock.
He doesn't like Rocco.
Well, guess what? I don't like Rocco either. Liz, also 1969, Paul Rudd was born and Ho Chi Minh died.
R.I.P. to a real one.
R.I.P. to Ho Chi Minh. That's right. Liz,
the realest real one.
Let's talk about that original Frosty. Do you know what the flavor of the Frosty is?
Light chocolate.
Yeah, unofficially, it is a light chocolate. It was the only frozen dairy dessert on the Wendy's menu from 1969, its inception, until, Lissa, 2006.
Woof.
2006. It's a long time. Wendy's does the, in this case, I think, unthinkable, and they introduced, Liz, a vanilla Frosty, just straight up vanilla.
Wow.
So the vanilla Frosty is interesting, I think, because a lot of people do like it. To me, I've had them. It's just a plain vanilla.
Yeah.
Like a very thick, plain vanilla milkshake. But here's the thing. This is the flavor list that's the default one to get the boot whenever there's a new limited edition Frosty introduced.
Thank gosh.
Yeah, usually for like a seasonal offering. They're never going to get rid of chocolate for sure. But if the machine only has 2 dispensers, there's going to be chocolate and then there's going to be something new. Listen, 2019, there was a birthday cake Frosty celebrating the 50th anniversary of Wendy's.
Wow.
2022, there was a strawberry Frosty in the summertime. It came back in 23 as well. We had one of those.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It was okay.
Yeah, it was kind of mid, right? See, I said another kid word, mid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liz, there was a peppermint Frosty in the winter. We liked that one quite a bit.
That was so good.
Yeah, I hope they bring that back.
Me too.
Allegedly, Alyssa, at one point there was a Bananas Foster Frosty. I don't remember that one. Do you? No, me neither. This year there's a pumpkin spice Frosty in the fall. Spoiler alert for later.
Yeah.
And earlier this year, Liz, there was a Wendy's Frosty breakfast cereal.
Yep.
We saw these on shelves not too long ago, and what did we say?
Said, we'll get it later, maybe.
Yeah, we said we'll get that later and try it out. Guess what?
They discontinued
It's discontinued. We cannot get it. I wanted it for this show as a point of comparison. Does not exist. Cannot find it anywhere. I could buy a box on eBay for like $30. Not doing that. Serialously, hey, I did it right. Serialously.net gave it a 5 out of 10 list. They said it was a slightly above average Cocoa Puffs clone, but with marshmallows.
Yeah.
Jamel Bowie, who is a famous food podcast guest and also writes for the New York Times and SeriousEats.com, liked them quite a bit. He said they were one of his favorite chocolate cereals, and I have a lot of respect for him, so maybe there is something to that Frosty cereal after all.
Maybe.
We will never know.
No, we won't.
No, we're not going to get a chance to try it unless they bring it back. Liz, it's very funny to me that the vanilla Frosty being the one that goes away anytime there's a seasonal offering, it's kind of amusing that that's the way they do it. And it's amusing to me only because people get very, very upset about it online.
I don't.
There is a petition that says that Wendy's should no longer get rid of the vanilla Frosty when they're doing seasonal offerings.
I think they should.
You think they should, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I also think it makes sense. If you are a Reddit user, probably you are opposed to this. Reddit is like replete with all these keyboard mashing screeds about how vanilla fans get no respect. And it's very funny to me to see people get so hot about a milkshake list.
For real.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. But is it a milkshake? What do you think?
No.
You don't consider the Frosty to be a milkshake?
I think of it more as a really, really thick ice cream.
Really, really thick ice cream. Yeah.
Because it's not like milkshake consistency.
That's right. It is too thick, in my mind, to be an adequate milkshake. I like a very thick shake, but a very thick shake still needs to be drinkable through at least a milkshake straw, if not a regular straw.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's, who created the Frosty, did sort of consider it to be a milkshakeless.
Really?
Yeah. A biography of Dave Thomas indicated that when he was inventing the Frosty, he envisioned it to be like a version of the ultra-thick milkshakes that he had growing up as a child eating at Burger Shacks in Detroit, Michigan. And he said he wanted it to be thick enough to eat with a spoon, but also slurpable with a straw, trying to hit that sweet spot between a drinkable milkshake and soft serve ice cream. Do you think he achieved that, Alyssa?
No.
I don't think so either. I only ever have eaten a Wendy's Frosty with a spoon. I did notice last night you had one, and you drank some of it with a straw. In fact, you only had a straw. You did not have a spoon for it. But that's only because they didn't give us a spoon in the bag.
No, they did.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I throw them away by accident?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, shout out to me screwing that up then. Liz, I remember being very frustrated by this as a child because my first few Frosties that I had when I was a kid, I didn't know that it was supposed to be drinkable.
I didn't either.
Because it wasn't. I could not get it through the straw.
Yeah, like you can't drink it.
Yeah, and I would get upset by that because it's not like you can't have it as a drink with your meal. It is very much in keeping with the term, a dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Liz, we just went over this a little bit. Do you use a straw or a spoon?
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I get the Frosty and we like drive home, but it takes us a little bit to get home, then at home I'll drink it with a straw. But if I'm eating it in the car or we get home fast, then I'll just eat it with a spoon.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Usually I am too impatient and too slovenly to wait for it to melt a little bit, but that is the strategy that works. You just have to have a modicum of patience. Just wait a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you let it melt just enough, it gets to that perfect drinkable consistency.
Yep.
I cannot wait, Liz. I want it now. That's the rule for me. Here's another reason that I don't use a straw, Alyssa.
What?
I have already at my disposal a superior Frosty eating utensil. Do you know what that is?
The French fries.
It is, in fact, a French fry. That's right, Alyssa. I dip my fries into my Frosty.
It's so good.
I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
There are literally dozens of us.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, there are probably millions. Here's the thing, Liz. The Frosty-and-Fries combo, dipping the hot, crispy, salty, potatoey French fries into the lightly chocolatey, frozen, creamy Frosty. It's a combo that predates the internet, Alyssa. So it's one of those like secret fast food menu item deals that most people just had to discover organically on their own. And probably I think they usually kept quiet about this because it's a little bit weird. You're not supposed to play with your food. This is not a combination that most people would think immediately goes well together. And Because of that, everybody that dips their fries in their Frosty thinks that they invented it because nobody else ever told them about it. They had to find it out for themselves.
Yeah.
But probably, Liz, our parents did it. Our friends and relatives did it. Everybody else we knew probably did it too. But it feels like a thing that's just for us. And I am personally happy to keep it that way.
Yeah.
You think so too, right?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Wendy's knows it too, of course. And they have even over the years, Liz, modified their French fries to make them more amenable to dipping.
Because they made them crispier.
That's right. They're a little bit more stout. They've got that skin on them now, which makes them a little more structurally sound. Here's a question, Liz. Do you think 1 fry or a 2 fry dip is superior?
2 fry.
It's definitely 2 fries, right? You're creating the width of a finger, which is perfectly scoopable for the Frosty.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Wendy's knows all of this. They have internal research. They say about 26% of all Frosty consumers dip their fries. And if they're selling 300 million per year, it's millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
Liz, I think it's fairly easy to see why this combination works together, even if chocolate ice cream and French fried potatoes don't seem on the face of it to go together.
Like salt and sugar.
Yeah,
so good.
That's right. It's basically the salty-sweet combination, but there's some other things too. We talked about why certain flavor compounds are complementary to each other, Liz.
Yeah.
We've talked excessively at length on this show about the contrast between salty and sweet before that and how it has a synergistic effect on palates. Here's something I found out doing the research for this show, Liz. There are certain flavor receptors for sweet foods in your mouth and in your brain that are only activated in the presence of salt. So you can only taste certain aspects of sweetness when there is salt around. This is why salted caramel works so good, Liz. Yeah, that's pretty good too, huh?
Yeah.
I would like to see maybe a salted caramel chocolate swirl Frosty. What do you think about that?
Maybe.
That's just a maybe? That's like a soft maybe from you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I feel like they did a lemonade Frosty in the summer once.
A lemonade Frosty?
It wasn't a lemonade. It was like a...
Well, I think they definitely had lemon slushy drinks, right? Does that sound about right?
Oh,
like a lemonade
they had
slushy?
those pink lemonade ones. Those are so good.
Yeah, all those are pretty good. Wendy's is sneakily good with its
beverages.
I
was thinking of Chick-fil-A. Never mind.
Chick-fil-A definitely has that lemonade. What do they call it? Frosted lemonade?
Frozen lemonade.
Yeah, those are pretty good too. Liz, the Frosties and Fry combo has a lot of different types of heterogeneity going for it. Yeah. It's got the earthiness of potato that complements the sort of deep smoothness of the chocolate. The sweetness and saltiness obviously go together. We like chocolate-covered pretzels, and in this case, chocolate-covered potato chips, which we make every year around Christmas. This is no different. There's also temperature and textural contrasts that I believe, Liz, are sublime.
Yep.
Yeah, so you got hot and cold, creamy and crispy, everything working well together. Bon Appetit magazine, Alyssa, even has a list of a bunch of chef-driven restaurant concepts that have tried to recreate the magic of the Wendy's Frosty and Fries by making their own sweet, salty potato and ice cream treats that sort of mimic the experience of having the Frosty and Fries together. So it's like, it's a dynamic experience. There's that secret menu, food hack sort of cultural aspect to it. It all works together.
It does.
Liz.
What?
Let's take a trip back in time for a moment.
Take a trip back to memory lane.
Yeah. Do you want to know how I got to be a fry dipper, Alyssa?
How?
It all started for me in kindergarten. This is true. We had Grandparents' Day at school when I was in kindergarten. And my grandma and grandpa showed up. And I don't think I really remembered that this was a thing that was happening at the time. I wasn't like, all hyped up, like, it's Grandparents' Day. This is going to be great. They just kind of showed up at school and were in the bleachers in the gym when I looked up. I was, 5 or 6 years old, not very good at planning things. So that was totally a surprise. Obviously, I'm very excited that they're there. There's lots of things in the school that I want to show them. But then I was even more excited, Liz, when they told me that we got to leave school and that they were going to take me out to lunch.
Wait, Dad.
Yes, dear.
I feel like this might have been a dream.
Okay.
But I also think that this might have been in real life when I was little. So at preschool, did Grandma and Grandpa come to pick me up from preschool once?
It's entirely possible. Do you mean at the old house?
Yeah, that's,
So it was this house. Grandma and Grandpa came to pick you up. I'm sure if you call them and ask them, they will remember immediately. I do not recall. Probably because the reason we would have asked them to pick you up is because we were super busy doing something else.
Because I feel like this is what I remember. I remember I was sitting down. I had my tiny, it was a backpack on.
Of course.
And I saw them at the door when we were at this dismissal room and they came to us. And I ran and then I feel like I tripped and fell.
Oh, well, I definitely don't remember that.
And then I remember I got in the car with them, and I was like so surprised.
Well, here's an easy question to see if you remember. Which car did you get in?
It was like a gray car.
Oh.
I think it was Mom's old car.
That definitely could have been either of our cars, sure.
I think it was Mama's old car.
Well, that would make sense. Guess what we're going to do right after this show?
We're calling Grandma.
Call Grandma and ask
her.
her.
This was real because I feel like I have this as a dream like every night, but I feel like it was real too.
Well, Liz, here's something that I know was real because I remember it very distinctly. My grandma and grandpa on Grandparents' Day took me to Wendy's, Alyssa. Now, I had probably been to Wendy's before that day, but I don't remember it. In my mind, canonically, this is my first trip to Wendy's. I had a plain hamburger with ketchup, the square burger. I had some French fries, and I remember having the French fries because my grandpa said, "Are you enjoying your potatoes?" And I looked at him and said, "These are French fries." He called French fries just potatoes. And I did not know, Alyssa, that French fries were made of potatoes. And he explained that to me. So that was a day of a lot of firsts there for me. But I always thought that was funny that Grandpa would say, "How are your potatoes?" That kind of thing. I also, Liz, had a chocolate Frosty, which I was not expecting to like at all because I was a vanilla kid, not a chocolate kid. What do you mean, ew?
Dad, I'm so mad at you.
Well, chocolate kids, first of all, were weird. They were the weirdos.
You're the weirdo.
And then chocolate kids were always messy for some reason. Like, you could look at them and they always had Cheeto dust on their fingers. And
I can't stand Cheeto dust.
Like Joker smiles of chocolate around their mouths. Chocolate kids were messy kids.
I was
definitely
messy.
Weirdos. But here's the thing. You were a messy kid. I remember taking you and your friends
with spaghetti, hot wings,
out to dinner when you were very little, and just we would look up at you and you looked like you had clown makeup on. There was so much food on your face. Definitely chocolate kids are messy kids. So I was a vanilla kid. I would always get a vanilla milkshake if that was ever an option, but there was no vanilla. If I wanted dessert, and I did, it had to be a chocolate Frosty. So I got the chocolate Frosty, and it was this very soft chocolate, very mild. And I remember liking it, even though I didn't want to try it at all. And I did try it because I was like deathly afraid of disappointing my grandparents. So I remember all of this, Liz. I remember the midday sun streaming in on my face through the Wendy's atrium. It was a great day. Have you ever seen a Wendy's sunroom, Liz? So I think you're too young to remember the Wendy's sunroom. Inside of Wendy's restaurants, there used to be a very homey decor. We were talking about
decor.
Decor, yes. That's how you say that word, decor.
You don't call it decor?
Well, I guess you can. I'm just...
I'm sorry. I got so confused when you said decor.
Decor. I'm enunciating.
Okay, carry on.
Carry on. Sticking out your decor for the Rizzler. Liz, if you look at fast food restaurants now, all the dining rooms are like exactly the same. Rectangular boxes, hard angles, gray drywall. Very boring. These are like outsourced architectural designs to lowest bidders. But Wendy's used to have some really interesting design choices inside. And one of those things was a sunroom with like these big panoramic curving windows and mini blinds. And it was always very warm and bright and inviting in the Wendy's atrium in the sunroom list.
Really?
Yeah. See, you're looking at a picture of one right now.
Oh, it kind of looks like like a hibachi, like where our hibachi is.
Yeah, that's right. It does. They sort of have a similar design aesthetic at the hibachi restaurant.
None of ours have these.
No, none of them have them. I mean, maybe there's one or two somewhere left, but they were mostly all remodeled into that same boring, long gray rectangle that every other fast food restaurant is now too.
Yep.
Liz, here's another thing. And this is something at Wendy's that thankfully still exists. And we actually got to see this in action today. These are Frosty coupon books and Frosty key tags. Liz, do you know what those are?
I know what a Frosty coupon book is.
Yeah, that's right. The free Frosty coupon books were amazing. We saw these a lot when we were little kids. You've had these too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly around Halloween, actually. This year, I think they were called Boo Books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the gimmick is you give Wendy's $1 and you get 5 coupons for free Frosty desserts, which I think is a heck of a bargain, Liz.
Yeah.
People used to give these out in our neighborhood, Halloween, trick-or-treating.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in high school, we just used to buy them up for ourselves because that was a great way to just get lots of Frosties for super cheap. And there was a Wendy's right by our high school.
Yep.
Liz.
What?
Do you know the other way to get free Frosty treats all year long?
How?
Well, you buy this thing called a Frosty key tag. Liz, when we were in the drive-thru today, getting the Frosty for this episode, the lady in front of us had a very complicated order. It took her a long time to get everything out. But at the very end, she said, "Oh, also, I have 3 Frosty key tags." And so she shook these little key tags. They're like little keychains that have a Frosty on them. And the lady inside the Wendy's handed her 3 Frosties. So here's the deal. You get a little barcode on a keychain. It costs $2. Between November and January, you pay Wendy's $2, you get this little key tag. And for the entire next calendar year, you get a free Frosty at Wendy's just by showing them the key tag. Now,
why don't we get that?
Well, so here's the thing. The official copy is it's a free Frosty with a purchase, right? So anytime you buy anything at Wendy's, you can also tack on a free Frosty, but not every Wendy's enforces that. And if you look around online, you will find out that most people just drive up to Wendy's and say, I got a key tag, can I have a Frosty, please? And most times they don't even check. They just give you the Frosty. Now, here's the thing. Wendy's is willing to do that because all of the money that's collected from that program, from the $2 Frosty key tags, supports this thing called the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption. Liz, what do you think that is?
Like they're getting paid for adoption places.
Yeah, sort of. It's a charity that Dave Thomas started to help foster children find adoptive homes. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, Dave Thomas himself, in addition to being the founder of Wendy's, the star of more than 800 TV commercials. You ever see any of the Dave Thomas commercials?
No.
He's like, he looks kind of like everybody's dad or grandpa, you know? He's like a homely, happy old guy. Dave Thomas himself was an orphan who was adopted. There he is.
I can tell.
You can tell that he's a nice old man?
They're always so happy.
Well, Dave Thomas in particular was happy. He lived a good life. He made a lot of people happy with his restaurant and his food.
Did you realize that the Wendy's sign says mom?
I have been told that. I have never actually looked. That's one of those like urban legends and myths that I never actually investigated. And if you take a look, yeah, you're showing me right now. Wendy, the titular redhead, who is the mascot of the restaurant, has a raised collar with blue and white stripes. And it looks like her collar spells out the word mom, M-O-M, from left to right. I did actually look this up for this episode, Liz. And I'm glad that you included it, because even though you can definitely see it in there, the Wendy's Corporation says that was not purposeful and that was not a design choice. It just happens to be a thing that people have ascribed to them.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
It is.
It's a nice way for them to remember the ladies in their lives. And Liz,
what?
That might be my favorite thing about Wendy's. What do you think?
Me too.
Yeah. You know what's my favorite part of this show?
What?
It's Alyssa reads the ingredients. Liz, what's in a Frosty?
Water, sugar, powdered milk, sunflower creamer, sunflower oil, maltodextrin, milk protein, emulsifier, E471, antioxidant.
I'm sorry, what?
Antioxidant.
Antioxidant, dear.
Antioxidant.
Very good.
E306, whey.
Whey.
Milk, cocoa powder, 3.7%. Stabilizer, E412. Flavoring dextrose, carrageenan.
Very good.
Stabilizer, E407. Dextrin, stabilizer, E415.
All right, so there's a couple surprising things here, Liz. This reads a lot like some science goo, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There is a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
A lot of sugar in a Frosty. There is a nut oil-based creamer, so oil-less in the Frosty.
Yeah.
Not really something you usually see in a frozen dairy dessert, right?
Mm-mm.
And then a lot of stabilizers and emulsifiers. And some dextrose, too, which changes the freezing point of water, so that inhibits ice crystal formation. That's what helps the Frosty stay smooth and creamy in addition to that oil. So those are some interesting additives that give that Frosty its very light, creamy, smooth texture. The thing that's like almost melty, but not quite, huh?
Yeah.
Fascinating. So, Liz, let's get to the rules of the game. Are you ready?
Yes.
Junk Feud is a culinary clash to see which treat will be crowned the undisputed champion of snacks. Is a King of the Mountain style battle in which the reigning champ takes on a new challenger each week to see which snack reigns supreme. And Alyssa,
yeah,
the reigning defending undisputed champion of snacks, is
Golden Grahams.
Golden Grahams breakfast cereal. That's right. Liz, we took a quick detour for spooky season. Apple cider donuts was the spooky champion.
Spooky dookie.
Excuse me.
Wait.
Go on.
Did you hear about that yet?
Did I hear about what yet?
Remember I said this the other day when we went to Wendy's?
What's that?
This is me walking into a Spirit Halloween store to take a very spooky dookie.
Well, that's disgusting. And
a creepy peepee.
Oh my gosh. Why? I don't mean to sound like that old get off my lawn kind of guy, but what is wrong with you children? What is wrong with kids today? Probably something that's our fault, I would guess. Yeah, that was pretty good, actually. I like that. We could have used that for the dad joke last month. Yeah, Liz, Apple Cider Donuts is going to be the champ until next year. But right now, we are back to your regularly scheduled program. We're heading into the holidays at the end of the month. But for the next 4 weeks, we are on the grind. We are junk feuding. And Liz, today we are trying
Wendy's Frosty.
The Wendy's Frosty, the classic chocolate, the icon, Alyssa. But wait.
Oh my gosh.
What's this? Liz,
What's this?
We have fries.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Wendy's fries. We're going to dip them into the chocolate Frosty. It's the secret menu list.
The secret menu.
And on that secret menu list, we say it's crunch time.
Crunch time.
We rate our snacks using a tier list from sprinkles to fun dip.
Sprinkles to fun dip.
So snacks can be graded A, B, C, D, or F, with the very best treats earning the elusive S tier ranking. The following contest is scheduled for one serving.
One serving.
And it's for the undisputed championship of junk food. Liz.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in the Wendy's Frosty packaging.
Really?
Yeah, so Wendy's branding a few years back, before your day, was like bright yellow. The fry sleeves were bright yellow, the bags were white paper, the drink cups were bright yellow, including the Wendy's Frosty cup, which was a bright yellow paper cup with a little flat plastic lid on the top. Now, what is this cup that we have in front of us here?
Clear with some ads on it.
Yeah, it's a clear plastic cup with like a Fox Big Noon kickoff football ad on it. And there's a QR code and you scan it to try to win something or other. But this is like a rigid plastic cup. The rim of the cup is much larger than the circumference, the diameter of the rest of the cup.
Yeah.
I mean, technically also the circumference. Why? Why does it look like this, Liz? Why isn't it just like the straight up and down cup?
I actually don't know.
I don't know either, but I think this is an attempt at some subtle shrinkflation here, Liz, because it makes the cup look like it's bigger on the top. So your brain is tricked into thinking that this is a bigger cup full of Frosty than it actually is.
Yeah.
That's a little disappointing, I think.
That's why I try to get the medium.
See, I always get the junior Frosty, the smallest, cheapest one there possibly is. And in fact, when you get that little boy, if you're not using a coupon book or a key tag, they're $1.29, which is actually not bad for a fast food dessert. Liz, in 1969, do you know how much a Frosty cost, the smallest Frosty?
A whopping 35 cents.
Yeah, 35 cents. Now that's not, actually, from 35 cents in 1969 to $1.29 in 2013 is actually not that bad as far as inflationary pricing goes.
True.
Still cheaper than a regular milkshake. If you just got a chocolate milkshake this size at Shake Shack, it's like $6 or $7.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, Liz, I would never be any other way. I think the Wendy's Frosty is superior to the Shake Shack chocolate shake.
Definitely.
Which is sad to say, I think, because Shake Shack really uses high quality ingredients for the most part.
I feel like
there's some artistry to it, you know?
Their chocolate is like very chocolate.
It's overpowering, isn't it?
Yeah, like to have with a burger.
Yes, for sure. And that's exactly what Dave Thomas was going for here when he was instituting that lighter chocolate flavor. So yeah, I mean, initially I'm not terribly crazy about the packaging here, but the look of the Frosty itself, Liz, what does it look like?
It just looks like chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a poo emoji.
Yeah.
When you think about it that way. I mean, that's obviously a little bit disappointing. But Liz, it doesn't smell like much, does it? Like a little bit lightly chocolatey?
That smells very chocolatey.
Let me see.
But it's melted too. I don't think that's...
Yeah, that's true. So the melting, ours is very melty here. The melting probably has a little bit to do with that. It's releasing some of the aroma as it melts. When things are cold, they generally, the smell is subdued, you know?
Subdued.
Very good. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
What about, Alyssa, the taste?
Oh my gosh. It's immaculate.
Immaculate,
It's like an ice cube to a dog.
What?
Yeah.
An ice cube to a dog?
Dogs love ice cubes.
I guess that's true. They probably do, huh? Liz, the chocolate Frosty, the light chocolate Frosty is absolutely wonderful. It really is. There is something about the texture, which is, like we said, not quite ice cream, but not quite a milkshake. Somewhere in between, owing to all that oil and dextrose and stabilizers and emulsifiers, obviously.
Yes.
It's quite good. It's like a black and white milkshake in a way, Liz, that mixture between chocolate and vanilla. That's your mom's favorite milkshake, by the way. Your mom loves the black and white shake. I do too. They're great. If you have to get a chocolate shake, I wholeheartedly recommend making it half vanilla, for sure.
Dad.
Yeah, bud.
Can I have a salad for lunch tomorrow?
Can you have a salad for lunch tomorrow? Sure. I don't. Yeah, there's no reason why not. That's a good choice, young lady.
Yeah.
What prompted that, by the way?
Because Lexi had this really cool salad container for lunch today.
Uh-huh. Well, we don't have Lexi's salad container.
Yeah, I know that, but like that just made me want a salad. And it has this like, oh, it's so cool. It's like this little dressing container, and it's like a squeezy one.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I got to pour it on her salad today.
Oh, shout out to Lexi and her salad container for lunch. Yeah, sure. You can have a salad for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. Wait, I got to show you that. It was so cool.
Okay, let's take a break from the program while we look at Lexi's salad container.
No, it's the squeezy.
While you're doing that, let's continue talking about the Wendy's Frosty, because by itself, Liz.
These.
Oh, yeah, those are very nice.
They're so cool.
That is cool. Liz.
What?
The Frosty flavor by itself is wonderful.
It is.
We said light, sweet, refreshing in a way, actually. Cool, creamy, wonderful. When you dip the fries in the Frosty, Liz, it is elevated so much. So much.
It is.
You have the hot, crispy Wendy's fries.
I was about to say something.
Go ahead.
No. It's like according to the score. I almost said the word.
It's according to the score?
Like I almost said that.
Oh, so you don't want to say a word that starts with the letter...
Something.
That letter grade that you're going to give this.
Yes.
Interesting. So a little bit of foreshadowing there for the show. Yeah, I mean, we tried this as we got a Frosty-and-Fries from the Wendy's drive-thru last night and then again today, to be sure.
Yeah.
We tried it as soon as they handed the bag through the window.
And like twice last week.
And twice last week as well, yeah. Hot, crispy, salty fries. The flavor of potato mixing with the flavor of chocolate shouldn't work, but it does. It's incredible. Sweet and salty, hot and cold.
Sweet and salty.
Crispy and creamy. All the things that we want out of a flavor and food combination. Heterogeneity, textural contrast, complementary flavor compounds. It is wonderful. And Liz, all of those things take me exactly to the bliss point. So let's hit the bliss point. What's your score? What do you say for let's do it two ways. The Frosty by itself and then the Frosty with fries.
Okay, Frosty by itself, A+.
A+. Strong score.
Yeah.
And Frosty-and-Fries?
Superior.
That means S tier, huh?
Yeah.
So you're saying the Frosty-and-Fries is S tier.
Yeah.
Top of the heap. Best thing you can eat.
Yeah.
Liz, I agree. And it's not even close. I mean, it is so obvious that Dave Thomas and company have done such a good job making science goo into something that we want to eat and tacitly endorsing the combination of the fries and the Frosty together.
Yeah.
We tried last week on the show, Alyssa, a malted milkshake and fries ice cream that was possibly the worst application of this concept that we could have had.
Probably.
And we've gone directly from that to the best. The fries being dunked in a milkshake is a classic combination as old as drive-ins themselves. The Frosty-and-Fries together, S tier. Liz, I don't even think it's close in my mind. This is the new champion.
Definitely.
What do you think? Yeah?
Yeah.
For sure. Alyssa, your winner and new reigning, defending undisputed champion of snacks, the Wendy's Frosty and French fries. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Liz, that's amazing. And it was a drubbing, too, by the way. Golden Grahams never stood a chance. Possibly my favorite breakfast cereal pales in comparison to the Frosty-and-Fries.
Yeah.
So shout out to Owen, big time, and his sister Ruby for recommending this to us.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, that's right. Liz.
What?
There's no Oreo rule this week.
No,
we're still waiting to see if they're going to come through with a holiday themed Oreo, and if they do, we will do that on the show. But each week on this episode, we do have to ask. Each week on this show, we ask a very important question: can you deep fry this week's snack, Alyssa? Can you deep fry a Frosty?
In real life, no.
No, but on Twitter, Alyssa.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Because in 2018, Wendy's themselves on social media posted a poll. They were asking their followers which of their iconic treats they wanted to see deep fried list. And it was the Frosty, the Baconator, the Dave's Classic Single Cheeseburger, or a salad list.
What?
The Frosty won, a whopping 45.8% of the vote. Here's the thing, though. Wendy's did not come through, Alyssa.
They did not.
No, they didn't pay it off. They just made photoshopped pictures of all four of the foods made to look like they had been deep fried.
Yeah.
Very disappointing. In the parlance of the day, do better.
Do better.
Do better. Liz.
Nike swoosh. Just do it.
Liz, we're going to do better now. We're going to check out the back of the box, a weekly segment where we play a little game. Alyssa, would you like to play a game?
Sure.
This week's segment is, Alyssa.
Seasonally appropriate.
Seasonally appropriate. We talked about comfy, cozy seasonless. On seasonally appropriate, we try a limited edition item that's only available during a specific season. What do you think we're trying today, Liz?
The pumpkin spice frosty.
Liz, it's the pumpkin spice frosty. That's right. Available for a limited time, taking up the machine slot for the vanilla frosty is the pumpkin spice frosty. We've talked about pumpkin spice at length on this show.
Yeah.
What did you think about the pumpkin spice frosty, Liz? We obviously don't have one with us here now today because we've been talking for almost an hour and it would have been melted, so we tried it last night. Liz, the pumpkin spice frosty. Do you like pumpkin spice lattes? You generally appreciate the pumpkin spice flavor.
Yeah.
I am a bit of a pumpkin spice skeptic. I like the flavor. I don't like pumpkin, though.
Me either.
This frosty was pretty pumpkin-y.
It tasted like straight out of the White Fox candle store into our home and then burnt on a Yankee candle.
Yeah. If this was Alyssa's candle cast and I was licking the Yankee Harvest candle, that's what the pumpkin spice frosty tasted like. It had a couple of different flavor beats to it. Right up front, you got all the warming spices. On the back end, there was that weird artificial canned pumpkin flavor, which I didn't like very much.
Mm-mm.
I wouldn't say this thing was absolutely terrible. If you're super into pumpkin pie and pumpkin spice, you would like this. It was like a frozen creamy slice of pumpkin pie. I don't care for pumpkin pie.
Me either.
It's not my favorite.
Me either.
I even tried dipping the fries in it, listen, it did nothing for me.
Mm-mm.
I didn't care for the pumpkin spice frosty.
Me either.
Neither did you.
No.
Look, at this point, I don't know that anybody really would like this, like, wholeheartedly, but it's too late. We are too deep into the pumpkin spice vortex. At this time every year, everything is pumpkin spice. It's inescapable.
Yeah.
So there's a pumpkin spice frosty, and we didn't like it.
Oh.
You know what I do like, though, Liz?
Listener mail.
I do. We do have some listener mail, but not today. Liz, what we have is... we've got a couple minutes here. Do you want to dip into the box of snacks and do a really quick impromptu around the world in 80 bites?
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. Let me grab something here.
Do the chips.
Do the chips. Which chips?
The bag.
Well, there's one bag of chips in here. Yeah, oh, wow, Liz. What a pick. What a pick. You have chosen.
I've been waiting for these since we got the box, and you're like, you gotta wait.
So... straight from Canada, Alyssa, a 40-gram...
Charlie Gillespie.
Shout out to Charlie Gillespie in Canada. Shout out to Dave Thomas, the other one in Canada.
The other one.
Liz, these are Ruffles all-dressed chips. This is a big one. We're going to do a whole show on all-dressed chips, but we have a little snackatizer here for us today.
Yes.
Liz, real fast, what's the flavor of Canadian Ruffles all-dressed chips? Do you even know? So all dressed is like, a lot of people think it's a lot of things. It's kind of like all the flavors together. It's a combination of ketchup chips and barbecue chips and salt and vinegar chips and maybe even sour cream and onion chips.
There's
too.
Like absolutely nothing in here.
Yeah, this is a small bag.
But so...
They smell great, though.
I used to think that all dressed chips were like salad dressing chips.
Oh,
and they tasted like Italian dressing.
Well, you have had Italian hoagie chips, which do taste sort of like powdered Italian salad dressing mix. How's the crunch? Ruffles are an interesting chip because they have a slightly strange texture to them, don't they?
They taste like Cooper's pepperoni.
Wow. Why are you eating dog treats, first of all?
I wanted to try one.
Shout out to Cooper the dog. Hey, I wonder if we're going to have to do a back-of-the-box segment where we eat dog treats. What would that be called? Pup quiz. These are great. There's so much flavor to them.
Maybe.
There's just a lot going on in an all-dressed chip.
Wait, like Puppy Chow?
Uh-huh.
It'll be like a pop-up, like a Puppy Now.
Puppy Now. I like that, too. That's pretty good. Liz, these are the original Canadian version in the Canadian bag with, like, the French language on it. A few years back, and I know this because I used to buy them pretty regularly, Ruffles had an American version of their all-dressed chips, and I think they tasted pretty much the same, if I'm recalling correctly.
It was really good.
Liz, we had some all-dressed chips this year because there was a bag of Lay's kettle-cooked potato chips that were all dressed in flavor season. And they were good, too, but I don't think they work as well as the Ruffles. The Ruffles ridged texture, that sort of almost mealy, chewy potato that Ruffles has in their chip.
Take these away from me.
I think does the best to grip the seasoning, if that makes sense. There's more surface area here for the seasoning powder to adhere to, which means there's more flavor per chip. These are really good. Liz, in addition to all dressed chips, what's the other thing that you think Canada does the best?
Bagged milk.
Bagged milk, sure. Yeah, bagged milk. I watch this guy on YouTube named Glenn who cooks, and he's in Canada, and he uses bagged milk. And your mom, was watching it with me one night, and she said, "What the heck is he doing to that milk?" Because he was snipping the corner off the bag and putting it in the little, plastic pitcher. Bagged milk, yeah, that's pretty good. I think, Liz, the Canadians have the best national anthem. It's like it's a close contest with the French. But "Oh Canada," when you hear,
oh,
yeah,
"Oh Canada, oh Canada."
No, that's "Oh Christmas Tree."
No, I literally just looked this up with Ella.
That's not how it goes.
I'm not joking. I can't spell Canada.
Yeah, I know. "Oh Canada" is the national anthem, but it's not sung like that. That was pretty good.
I don't know how you sing it,
yeah,
but I'm just saying the lyrics.
"Oh Canada,"
and
Alyssa,
then it starts talking in French.
Is a fantastic national anthem. And when you hear a raucous crowd of like 20,000 Canadian hockey fans sing that anthem at a hockey game, look up some videos on YouTube of Canadians singing the national anthem at hockey games. It's immaculate. And Liz,
what?
You know what else is immaculate?
Ending this show.
That's right. Getting out of here. Liz, this podcast should reach you in excellent condition, satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. If you've got a question for us, you can write to the address on the label. That's junkfeudpod@gmail.com. Any final thoughts this week, Liz, as we crown a new champion?
No.
That was a hard no.
No.
How are those chips? So good. This podcast has contained your recommended daily allowance of fun. For more, go to X, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, or wherever you choose to be social. Find us at Junk Feud Pod. You can watch fun-size reviews on YouTube, buy our merch on TeePublic, and don't forget to catch all the snaction each and every week wherever you listen to podcasts. Until we see you again, for Alyssa, I'm Mike.
Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on ya.
Bye. We need to take a break from Wendy's.